Hello everybody, it's Kara from Wild Book Garden, and today I'm here with a very strange combination of a video, at least for my channel. Not that this is like strange to do, but I am going to be, I don't know, I guess this is like a knit with me or craft with me or something, because it's basically going to be a super chill, casual, chatty video where I knit and I just ramble about the King Eternal Monarch. Because I think I've mentioned this in passing a couple of times in videos. Otherwise, if you were with our cozy crafting sprint last time, you definitely heard a little bit about this. But I watch a lot of Korean dramas, also known as K-dramas. That is really primarily what I watch, that is new content. Because I always say I'm not really a watcher, I'm like more of a rewatcher. I don't watch a lot of like movies or TV shows in general. And I especially tend to just rewatch things that I've already seen and enjoyed. Like I just don't watch a lot of TV especially. But when I do, it's pretty much exclusively, at this point at least, K-dramas. And I'll go through like phases with it where it's like there'll be long stretches where I'm not really watching much of anything. I'm just, you know, reading and like consuming content that way for the most part. And obviously YouTube as well. And then I'll just be like in my K-drama moment, and that's one of the primary things I'm doing. And that's where I am right now. So I haven't been doing a lot of reading. And I have a lot of thoughts about Eternal Monarch, which is one of the ones that I am in the middle of watching. I feel like it's a fairly popular one in terms of Korean dramas. I don't know if this is true, but that's what it feels like. And I just thought I would chat about some thoughts I have while I work on the scarf that will never die. If you guys were with us for our earliest cozy crafting sprints, you might recognize this because this scarf is taking me so long to make because it's a pain, and I have one useful thing it has done is confirmed to me that I absolutely despise knitting with more than one strand of yarn at a time. I hate it. I hate it so much. I am never doing it again. It is scratchy, it's messy, it's easily tangled. Like, the look is nice, but it's just not worth it to me. It takes so long to do. It's so hard to like just do the basic stitches because you have to catch both loops. Like I know other people love it. They're all about the mohair and the alpaca and everything. I don't like scratchy or like fuzzy kind of materials like that anyway. So this is kind of an exception, but even without the feel, I just hate the whole experience. So hopefully I'll have like a cute little scarf when I'm done with this. And then I can cheerfully never do this again. Never do multiple yarn strands at a time again. Okay, anyway, so I don't know if you'll even be able to see this, we'll find out, but the King Eternal Monarch is a like contemporary plus fantasy that also I guess you could describe as science fiction as well because it involves parallel worlds. Short version is there is the king character, and when he was very little, his father was assassinated by the boy's uncle. Who was trying to possibly take the throne or maybe get something else instead. He was after power. And the young boy was saved by a mysterious person who he's been trying to track down his whole life. So now at the point that the show starts, like after the backstory section, he is an adult and he ends up finding a portal or like a gate into like our world. So the alternate version is like the kingdom of Korea or Korea, and is spelled with a C. And then our world, of course, is Korea with a K, South Korea, which is, of course, a republic. And when he crosses through, he finds the person who he recognizes as the person who saved him all those years ago. And because of like the weird time stuff happening in the alternate universe, they're actually both adults, so she hasn't really aged. She's of course our female lead. They are the ones who are going to be having the main romance, because if you guys don't watch K-dramas, there is often a significant romantic element, although by no means are all of them rom-coms. Just keep that in mind. Yeah, so like I said, I feel like this is a fairly like well-known and popular K-drama, and honestly so far I am a little underwhelmed. I'm not loving it. There are parts that I really like and I'm still watching it. I haven't like given up on it or anything, but I am just not loving it like I assumed I would. For one thing, it is very slow. Like I'm honestly kind of bored. Like the episode that I just watched, I feel like I'm roughly halfway through. Also, backstory on K-dramas, they tend to have, like, they almost never have more than one season. It's like more of a mini series sort of thing, and it's like a set number of episodes. 16 episodes is a really common one. I think this one is 16, and I feel like I am maybe roughly halfway through. And the episode that I just saw is honestly the first time that I have like actively had a good time with the show. Not that I've like been having a bad time with the other episodes, but like I was expecting so much more and I'm just underwhelmed. Like, I love me some Lee Min-ho. He's the actor who plays the lead. He's really talented. Of course, very nice to look at, which the director definitely takes advantage of with like the staging and everything. Just dropped some yarn. It's fine. We're gonna keep going. So like, I like Lee Min-ho as a performer. I think he's good. But with this one, I think his character is kind of flat. Like, he's sort of like the typical cocky in a charming way, but also sometimes annoying king, like royal figure. And like, he's fine, but he's just not, like, I think his acting and his character in The Great Doctor, which is like a similar kind of historical time slip sort of thing, or historical as opposed to fantasy, although there is some fantasy elements in it. I think his performance in that one is so much better. I think his character is more interesting, and like, I don't, like, he's obviously not a bad actor, so I don't know if it's partly the script, partly the director, or like, you know, the characterization choices they're having him make, but I just don't feel like he's standing out as a lead. And then the female lead, I'm sorry, I don't know the actress's name because I haven't seen her in anything else, but she also is clearly a talented actress. But she's kind of like the typical feisty, like sassy police officer, and she is in a more like understated way than is common, which is nice. Like, she's not like so stereotypical, but she also, I just don't think is standing out a lot as a character. I actually feel like some of the supporting characters are much more interesting and more well developed, like Captain Joe, who is the sort of like head of the King's Guard. I really like him. And also, I should mention, there's like doppelganger situations. So a lot of the characters, we see versions of them in the Republic and versions of them in the Kingdom of Korea. So yeah, like, the leads I just don't think are that interesting, which is a problem. And also, which I think is a possibly an even bigger problem, since again, a lot of K-dramas really focus on characters and character relationships, which is something I enjoy as a character-focused reader. That's something I enjoy in visual content as well. I don't know why I keep getting out of breath. I just have so many feelings. But another thing is that I also think our two leads have like no chemistry together. Like, at this point in the show, we are supposed to be pretty well invested in their developing feelings and romance, and I'm just not. Again, to bring up The Great Doctor, the romance that Lee Min-ho's character has with, I think Kim Hae-sun is the actress's name, or Kim Hae-soon, their romance is beautifully done. It is slow burn. It is so well developed. I love getting to see them like learn about each other and respect each other and like tease each other and help each other. Like, it's so great. It's one of my favorite K-dramas for a reason. There are some kind of like clunky special effects, and it is a little bit older, which makes sense. But like, the characters and the relationships and like other elements of the story are just absolutely brilliant. So yeah, in comparison, I'm just not wowed by this one. And this should have been a premise that I really enjoy, because even though I'm not wild about like parallel universe stories, I do really love ones that kind of feel like historical time slip, and this one felt like that a little bit. And yeah, just to repeat myself yet again, underwhelmed. There are some of the other side characters I like too, and also something that is weird for me is I actually find the present day scenes, or the real world scenes, way more interesting, which like never happens for me. Like, you guys know that if there's like a historical timeline or like a fantasy timeline or anything like that, I always prefer that one over like the basic contemporary. Like, there's a reason that I don't tend to read historical books that have dual timelines, because there's always like the historical one that's actually interesting, and then like 2008 LA, and I'm like, why do I care? Like, I'm here to read historical fiction. So I almost never prefer the like contemporary or like realistic timeline, or like section. And here I do, which I think is maybe also, I don't know. I think it could be a good thing because it means that like the mystery element that we're seeing in the present day is pretty interesting, and there are some interesting side characters there as well. But I also think it might be kind of a negative comment on the like characters and the plot lines that are happening in like the fantasy section. So I don't know. I just feel like maybe it's not a great sign that I am like much preferring the contemporary one. Then also like another thing about the characterization that I'm finding frustrating, and I think one of the reasons why I am not super invested in our protagonists and in their relationship, is I feel like they are both being very frustrating in different ways. Like so like for one thing, it takes, oh no, did I make a mistake? Maybe I did. Ugh, I'll figure that out later. See, maybe I shouldn't like knit and talk at the same time. It's fine. But one thing that is kind of annoying about like the first section of the show that I've seen is it takes a really, really, really long time for our female lead to believe Lee Min-ho's character about like that he's a king from another dimension or like a parallel world, which like makes sense, right? Like I think with The Great Doctor, the reason that disbelief didn't last nearly as long is because in that one it is the modern person who gets taken back to historical Korea, and so like they are thrown into the middle of it and they really like they literally like can't disbelieve it because it's like happening to them, you know, like aside from the initial disbelief, which is understandable. So like I get why it would happen this way, but it still takes so long, and it's stuff where like, okay, there's been enough like weird things happening around you guys that I feel like it should have at least occurred to you that like maybe he's telling the truth or maybe there is something weird going on. And then even when she actually travels to the kingdom, the way that some of the things that she does there, I just think they don't make sense and they're kind of irritating. And it kind of seems like it's happening for no good reason or to like drag out that part of the story. So that's frustrating. But then on the king's side, he's also frustrating because he seems to be not really getting the fact that this woman has come from a completely different world and that is not a monarchy, and that there's a lot of these things that she really can't be expected to know about how things work in his kingdom. So like they are, at least it's equal opportunity because they are both being annoying about this, but that is also not a great thing about the show, you know, not something I'm enjoying. We do seem to be getting less of that though, finally, at the point I'm at in the show, but I haven't liked that. And then possibly my biggest issue, like the thing that is least fun for me about this show, is the like overall plot and the way it's delivered to us, and specifically like the antagonist part. So like we know from pretty early on that the Lee Min-ho's uncle, I know I keep using his actor's name because I don't remember the king's character name, which also you're not supposed to say, which is another thing that like the other main character just doesn't seem to understand. But anyway, so we know from pretty early on that he has like escaped to the Republic of Korea through this gate, that he is able to be transported through it as well, and that's how he escapes justice for killing the king. Like we know this, I think, from like the first episode. And so like, you know, whatever, that's fine. And then also I recognize that at least a little bit of this is probably personal preference. I, in general, don't love when we spend big chunks of a story from the villain's point of view if I don't think they're like especially interesting. Which I do, I feel like this villain is not especially interesting for me. So like we get these kind of significant like chunks or sections of each episode that are following like him and his like evil plans, which are still kind of vague. And the thing that I find so annoying about those sections is how like confusing they are in ways that I don't think are intentional or useful or necessary like for the audience. Because like, of course you're not going to tell us everything right away. That totally makes sense. Like, of course we're not going to have like all of the details and like everything explained to us about why he's doing what he's doing and what his plans are, who all of these other characters are. Like, I'm not expecting that to be explained to us from the beginning. But the thing that I find annoying, and like authors sometimes do this too, and I hate it, is specifically the way that information is being withheld from us and the kinds of information that is being withheld from us makes those scenes an absolute waste of time. Like, they are so confusing. We are seeing things happen involving characters who we don't know, and it's stuff that feels important for the show. It's like, I think we either need to be told a lot less or a lot more in terms of what's going on with those scenes, because we're given enough information that the scenes make up a like reasonably big chunk of the story. Like, not the majority of it, but we keep coming back to Mr. Bad Guy and like all of these weird things that he's doing in his like blacksmith slash pottery shop. I don't know. There's like weird scenes. Like, I don't understand where he is. So like, we're given enough information that this takes up time in the story, but not nearly enough information to actually be meaningful or useful to us. Like, it just, I feel like we're wasting time, and it's one of the things that makes the show feel long. Like, the episodes, like, they are a little over like a standard episode, you know, they're like an hour and 20 minutes, but they feel even longer because I am so tired of like seeing this like villain character do like bad things that we don't really have a lot of context for, like over and over, and with characters that we don't know, and like in situations that are, it's like hinted at why they're important, but nothing is really explained. Either just give us like little glimpses of what this guy is up to, you know, like little teasers until we get to the actual reveal of what he's doing, or if you're gonna make this like a significant part of the screen time, then like actually explain it to us. Because like the things that they are withholding, again, it's not that I expect to be told and explained everything at the beginning, but the specific things that they are holding back are crucial pieces to like care at all about these scenes, in my opinion. Like, it feels like such a waste of time, and it's something that really irritates me about storytelling. So that might be my least favorite thing about the show. And this has been very ranty and negative, but I'm not like hating my time with it. Like I said, I'm obviously still watching it. The last episode I watched in particular was actually very good. There was a lot of like funny things. There was a lot of like interesting story and character moments. So I don't know. Again, my bottom line so far is underwhelmed, but there is hope, you know, hopefully we continue on this like upward trajectory for the episodes. I did get a little work done on The Scarf That Will Never Die, so that's positive. But yeah, let me know what you guys think of this weird video format. And let me know if, like, please, if you're watching Eternal Monarch or you have watched it, because I know it's been out for a while. By the way, I'm watching this on Netflix. I don't know what the availability is like. I just know that for US Netflix it is available. Please, if you are watching or have watched it, let me know your thoughts. Like, let's talk about it because I have a lot of thoughts, obviously. So anyway, I guess that's gonna be it for today. That's been, yeah, like there's a lot of other shows that I'm really enjoying, and I think maybe that's why Eternal Monarch feels so frustrating, is because I've had some really great shows. Like, I recently finished Hotel de Luna, which I absolutely loved. I'm almost done with Tomorrow, which is very intense but also incredible. Like, just one of the best TV shows of any kind that I've ever seen. So that one is fantastic. I am in the middle of rewatching Crash Landing on You, which is great. Also in the middle of rewatching Touch Your Heart, which is like so sweet and endearing and romantic, while also having some like interesting and like meaningful topics explored. So like I feel like there's been like high highs and low lows because I've had a lot of hits lately, and so the ones that are misses or that are more like mediocre, I think feel even more frustrating. But anyway, please let me know what your thoughts are on Eternal Monarch, or if you haven't seen it and you're like not even interested in it, let's just talk about it anyway. Do you have any input on this like rambly little monologue about this show? I'd love to hear it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you soon with another video, and I hope you love the next book you read, or the next K-drama you watch. Bye!